Welcome to the Seraphim Machinery Podcast. We are your seeding and tillage specialists, aiming to deliver business updates, industry stories, and special guests from customers, dealers, suppliers, and Seraphim staff. Today's episode takes place at Collier Miller in Griffith, New South Wales, to speak with Paul Giovinazzo, who is the Engineering Division Manager. Paul and Rod cover all things C&M, from the company's history, their design team, manufacturing processes, apprenticeship programs, and innovative projects. Now it's time to get the show on the road. Take it away, Rodney.
Welcome everybody to the Seraphim Machinery Podcast. I'm not sure what episode this will be, but we're here today in Griffith with one of the engineering juggernauts, Collier Miller. And we've got Paul Giovinazzo.
That's right.
Jivy, as we know him affectionately. We've known him for a long time. Thanks for taking the time out, Jiv. We're here to have a bit of a chat just in regards to Collier Miller and what they have done for Griffith itself, agricultural industry, as well as many other industries. And they've got a really interesting story to tell. So, Paul, I'd like to just probably start. Can you give us a bit of an explanation of Collier Miller and where it started?
Where it started. Okay. So Bill Collier started the business in 1946 after he returned from World War II.
Yeah, right.
He set up in the top of Banner Avenue, where that's the location where it started.
There it was, yeah, right.
Yeah. And he was there on his own, and he started doing little repairs. Like he was a fitter machinist,
Yeah.
and did a bit of welding. So it's a small shop. And then after that, the business started to grow a little bit, and he needed, like, he loved to be on the tools, but
Yeah.
he wasn't a businessman, so to speak.
Yeah.
So his friend Ron Miller,
Right.
from the war, they were in the RAF together.
Yeah, right. There you
Yeah.
go.
So he approached him and said, "Look, you know, come and join the business and help me out with stuff." And Ron knew nothing about welding and stuff, but he soon picked it up. So they formed Collier and Miller in 1957.
1957.
Yep.
That's a fair effort, isn't it?
So from there, they started to grow a little bit. So in the 60s, they bought this new location. So they started doing a little bit of earth moving stuff when the development of the Collier Miller and the Cuba regions in this area started to develop with the irrigation.
Really take off, yeah.
Yep. And then Peter Miller, Ron's son, joined the business in the 1980s. He was a food technologist by trade. So
Really? Yeah, right.
Yeah, so he worked at the Griffith Prods.
Yep.
And then Ron called him over to give him a hand with the business, and things started to go in the 80s. I think we had a drought period, and things started to back off with business. So they started getting into more retail sort of stuff, selling hydraulics, because there's a lot more repair work done rather than buying new machinery.
Yep.
So they started the retail arm of the business. Then after in the sort of the 90s, we started getting back into the workshop stuff again. I joined in 93 as an apprentice welder.
Yep.
So I was only 16 when I started. And Dennis was the engineering manager back then. You know Dennis Tagg.
Yep.
And so we started developing a few little bits and pieces, channelers and stuff like that. And then, so 15 years ago, 16 years ago, we built this new facility out the back here, and it took a punt, and it's 8,000 square meters, and so we started building all sorts of machinery. So now what you see these days, we're at 20,000 square meters under roof.
20,000 square meters under roof.
Yeah. So some of our flagship stuff are like laser buckets, cotton trailers, and also Seraphim machinery.
Oh, thank you.
I do recall the actual day that, because I knew Daryl's son, because Daryl used to work with us.
That's right.
He worked for us, and he's been here a couple of years before I started.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And he went on his own and he started building spray booms and stuff, as you know. And then he started importing the Abadi seed drill.
From Argentina, that's right.
From Argentina.
Yep.
And I think Daryl wanted to, as Daryl is, he likes to develop stuff and he wanted to make improvements. And those companies are pretty set in their ways. All they'll do is just do what they want to do.
That's right.
And so Daryl came to me and asked, can you build us one of these, but with these few changes? And I thought, oh, wow. We'll give it a go.
Bit of a job, yeah.
Bit of a job. So we had one guy in design back then and designed it, and now like Seraphim's our largest agricultural customer. So it's just started from that conversation to now it's just massive. And one thing I've sort of picked up over the time is that come from a necessity. Daryl looked at the market in Australia and gone, I see a hole, I see where we need to change. And the only reason why we wanted to change these things was to improve them for our customers. And that's been a common theme right the way through with everything we've done. We've been working together personally for about 9 years, something like that, since I started. And looking at every year we come back, Daryl has another epiphany and says, let's try this. Yep.
The forward folds, the high lifts, these machines, they've taken a lot of engineering. We wouldn't have been able to do it on ourselves. The team that you've got working here in your design part of it is phenomenal. And being able to take it to where we've done it, it's just taken our business to the next level. So it's been great to be able to work hand in hand.
Yep.
With that, you said you had the retail part of the business, which you do now, and it's still very strong. You've got your engineering part of the business. You've got a steel supply.
Yep.
Is there anything else I'm missing?
No,
you do design work.
We do, but we do a lot of bespoke work. We get customers that will come in and want a solution. Like, for example, currently just building a 9-bale moon buggy for Rivcot at Carrathul. We recently developed some new trash racks for some customers out at Hayloft. The blowaway grass that's in the channel sometimes, you can walk across it. That's how thick it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's these trash racks pull the trash out, and that improve their irrigation 4 times. So sometimes
just by improving the water flow
just improving the stopping the blockage.
Yeah.
So sometimes they've got a 4-foot pipe, and if that blowaway grass packs in that tight, they have to cut it with a chainsaw
to get it through.
It out. Yeah, so
being able to prevent that, save them a lot of time. And
that's right. So we develop machines that to customers' needs, like you guys, fix solutions. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
The moon buggy is something I want to touch on after. It's a pretty cool project.
Oh yeah. It's given us a few headaches. It's one of the most major projects we've taken on.
You've taken some big, I've seen some big machines that you've done for customers, some framework that you actually built, like 24-metre machines and stuff, and you've set them all over Australia, like your cotton trailers, for instance. That's been a design that started here and come from a necessity, like how can we transport more cotton bales safer? And within government regulations for road transport, but that's gone Brazil. They're building them over there now.
Yep. That's on license.
Yeah. On license, but
so
that's your design. We've got a
patent worldwide,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So the funny story how it happened. I had a client who was a transport operator and just come to me with this little squiggle, just of a drop that trailer, and 9 round things.
Yep.
And he goes, how can we do this, and can we squash these things down so I can get them under height?
Yep.
So that so we started the design work, and the design is fairly simple, and the patent is the crushing of the cotton. That's So that's the patent.
Yep.
The biggest job was getting it through regulatory authorities. Like, so we had to consult with NHVR.
Yep. Which is great fun.
Yeah, Queensland Roads, RMS.
Yep.
And getting them all to agree that the product was safe on the roads. So we had to get this thing tested. So we had to get 3 cranes to lift this trailer up. But we had to tilt it 45 degrees sideways to simulate an accident and forwards. So you see this massive 50-ton trailer just up in the air. Yeah, full of cotton. Yeah, so that was that was challenging, but it's come to fruition in the end. You
can't drive down the road at the moment without seeing them. They're everywhere.
There's 250 of them out there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's only been, what, 2, 3, 4 years?
It's been about 8 years. Yeah.
8 years?
8 years, yeah.
Yeah, right. It's time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the first one. Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, it's we at the moment we built 25 this year.
Yep.
Yeah, it seems to be that slow trickle every year, which is fine by us because it allows us to do it a lot.
Well, that probably leads on to the moon buggy thing. Yeah. So 9 bales, cotton bales, as we talk, on a trailer. What are the normal cotton pickers when we're talking about these bale grabs and we're talking about at the gins? They normally pick up 4 at a time. Is that right? 6 at a time.
6, which
is not quite what the customers are needing. They're saying we want to be able to pick up a full load every time.
Yep. The efficiency gain of this, the actual Rivcot, the owners did up a spreadsheet, and they had to obviously get things approved by the board of directors. So they were considering buying 2 of the 6 bale machines or the 1 of the 9, and they cost effective. It was more cost effective to get the 9 bale.
Yeah. This means more headaches for you.
Yeah.
You've got to build it. And no doubt on the video, on the YouTube video, we'll see some footage of that machine as it's being assembled. It's a big unit. Well, you've got to imagine it's got to be able to pick up 9 big cotton bales at once and load it up. But the way it looks and the way it moves around is self-propelled, self-driven.
Yep. So we bought a 988 cat loader.
Yep.
Merely for the drive line, the engine, the coolant system, the cabin, and so we just wrecked it, and built around it. Yeah. Yeah.
NASA is going to be onto you guys next. I love it. That's cool. How many staff have you got in your workshop here?
Engineering is 100 staff between office and floor workers.
Floor. Yeah. Yep. And how much has that grown in the last 5 years?
It's grown. It just continues to grow. We were probably at 65 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's probably our biggest challenge is staffing. So we traditionally always put on apprentices, fitter and turners, and welder fabricators.
There's not too many places I can go within 200-300 k's on any farm that hasn't had a son go through and do an apprenticeship here, which is great for them because a lot of them go back to the farm later on with some good skills.
Oh, they do.
But it also means that you've got to continually change it and keep them coming through.
That's right. And look, farm kids are great kids.
They turn up.
They've already got an idea of what stuff does, and they've got an interest in it. And I encourage even though you know that you'll lose them after a little while.
Yeah,
most of the time.
And that's the thing, most of the time. If you do snavel one and he's really good and you can keep him, happy days.
But then they become our customer too after.
Well, that's true, because they know what you do and they've got that relationship. So it's pretty clever marketing ploy.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. But so we do, we try to put on 10 apprentices a year. This year, unfortunately, we were only able to recruit 7.
And was that not down to not having the space?
No, it's just not having the kids interested in the trades.
I've got a few. I'll have to have a word to them. And
I think at the moment the most popular trades are sparkies, plumbers, and builders. They got full classes up at TAFE.
Yeah,
where Yeah, our
They run
trades.
around, they drive around in their
Yeah.
dual cab Land Cruisers and their mullets, and good on the tradies.
Yeah, that's what we got to compete with. So
it's hard, isn't it?
It's hard, yeah.
Yep.
We canvass the schools regularly.
Yep.
It's just a constant challenge. And the other thing that we do to fill the gap is we go offshore to we get foreign workers. We put them on visas, so we sponsor them. I recently went over and so this has probably been over 4 times now. So the process is I'll go over there with.
Sorry, is that a tax write-off?
No,
just to go on holiday. No,
I do have a bit of fun. No, I might have a day of fun.
Yeah,
I'm only there for 3 days.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chris Miller doesn't want me to party too hard.
No,
so.
I can. Yeah, those days are gone, mate. I think.
So the process is I might say like I'll tell the agent who's an Australian guy, he's Australian skilled migration. I might need this last time, so 10 welders and 5 fitters. So I'll interview about 50 people on the first day. It's just like speed dating.
Got that many people that are willing to.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can interview as many as you like. There's just so many. And what I look for is most of them have been abroad. So if they've worked in Japan and Saudi, they've got the skills already.
Yep.
So I'll shortlist that, and then we'll go test at like a TAFE facility. We'll take them the next day and we'll test those guys. We give them a little project with they'll have a piece of angle line and they have to form it into a thing just with some basic tools. So you see what their skills are like, and we measure it and make sure that we get the best guys out of that lot, and then So
if you've got a decent pool to pick from too, though.
Yeah.
And like you said, a lot of these ones have been overseas and done jobs elsewhere. They're going to be bringing some good skills.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've been doing it for 7 years now, and we've got a lot of guys here that are already Australian residents, that the originals that come over.
They've settled.
And settled. They bring their families out, buy houses, pay tax. So they're like new Australians, but they're good people. Yeah.
And they work.
Yeah. They're
good.
They
They're
do their
reliable.
job. Yeah. They like money, so they want to do the overtime, and they support their families back over there, and so it was just a necessity for us to go, because if I need 40 extra people, I can't find them in Australia anyway.
Nah, that's right. You're competing with so many different markets. Yeah. We're not too far. You've got the Orange bloody gold mine. You've got West Wyalong. That's just locally, without looking at any other industries. And the mines they tend to throw a bit of cash at these guys, and next thing you know, they're gone.
Yep.
It's interesting to see just how much you've been able to utilise that outside of the box because you would never have been able to grow like you have and get to the position where you have, where you've got massive expansions going on just on the other side of the shed. That's an interesting part of the business of chook sheds.
Yep.
Doing the quick design, knock up sheds. I don't know whether Daryl mentioned it in his podcast, just how many chickens are put through Steggles here, or bloody Barter, or whatever they're called now. I know them as Barters. Yep. It's phenomenal how many chooks go through that joint. There's a lot of chooks, need a lot of sheds. Collier Miller's knocking them out flat out.
Yep. So we're doing projects mainly out of town now. So Griffith's got the Griffith region. We've built probably 200 sheds in the last 6 years.
Yeah,
we've got another project at Gilgowie at the moment. But a lot of our stuff. So we're doing egg sheds as well. So eggs are pretty popular up. There's a place in Manila, southern Queensland.
Yep.
A lot of egg sheds. So, and our customer asked us to design he calls it a caravan shed. So this super fun bought this massive olive grove that was run down. So they pulled out every second row, and they wanted us to design a caravan. So this shed has 5,000 laying birds in it, and it's all solar powered and everything. So it's just got a tractor that tows it along, so that they'll pull up in one position, open up the doors, and the chooks can roam free. So they get a free range pasture egg certification, which is the most expensive egg. You can just sell them to people at Bondi that'll pay $5 an egg for them. So,
beauty.
yeah.
Have this smashed eggs.
Yeah, smashed eggs and avocado. Yeah. So we built a heap of those caravan sheds. So yeah, to get that certification, they need to be able to move that up every few days. And yeah, it was
5,000. That's a few birds to cart around and carry.
Yeah,
It's got to be special sort of build.
Yeah.
And naturally would have been a lot of little design things you had to work with going down the rows and things like that.
Going down the rows, and you have to allow for the people that pack them at the back, and the wheels set up on them, and
another customer come to you with a problem, and Collier Miller solve it.
Yeah.
I like it. That's good. That's good. Personally, you started in 1993, is it?
93, yeah.
93.
Yep.
And as an apprentice?
I did.
What made you stay?
My story, back then there was, like, I finished year 11 and there was no apprenticeships going in town whatsoever.
Yeah, right. It was pretty ordinary.
It was ordinary back then. Barters wasn't taking anybody. There was zero. So I did work experience the year before at Collier Miller, and as a fitter and turner. So I went, like my dad said, "Oh, look, if you want to get an apprenticeship, go and ask Peter Miller, because you did work experience there, and tell him you'll work 6 months for free if he gives you a job." Because my dad was old school.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I did that.
Yeah, right.
And Peter,
imagine kids doing it now.
Oh yeah, no. and obviously Peter didn't accept that, but he said, "Look, I don't have a fitter and turner job, but I've got a position as a welder, apprentice welder, if you want." I said, "Okay." So I grabbed that. Yeah, and did the apprenticeship for 4 years, and what made me stay is that I was always ambitious to grow, and Dennis and Peter were happy for to stoke that fire.
Yes.
And so it was new projects, developing. I love developing stuff, so it just kept me busy and kept my mind on it, and it's
one thing I must admit. Dennis has been here a long time, but he's not the longest serving employee. You've got a lot of people that have been here for 20, 30, 40 years.
50
years.
55, one of the staff has. One of the staff is,
That is a phenomenal effort, and that shows you just what sort of good culture you must have here as a business as well. Yeah. So you're bringing on a lot of staff, but you're also retaining a lot of your original knowledge and family-owned business ideologies.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, the Millers have been really fair with their staff, so I can't fault them. Yeah, so that's why we've got our senior management team is, but the person that's been here the least time has been here 23 years in our senior management team.
Really?
And one of the guys that has been there the longest, 40 years, and we've got Willie who's been here for 55 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So in the recent times with all your expansions, what sort of technology have you brought into the business? Some new machinery or new concepts in regards to the lean process manufacturing you've been doing?
Yeah, so in terms of machinery, we've been updating a lot of our machinery because we've had some decent years of late, as in CNC lathes and 5-axis mills. To do a lot of our machining stuff. We're now looking into some robotics, so hopefully I can get that across the line in the next 12 months.
Nice.
For some of the smaller componentry that we work on. Our lean stuff. So I call it a lean journey. So in 2017, I went overseas and visited a few factories that have got up to 5,000 people working in them, and their systems have to be spot on to get that many people mobilised. Yeah. And so I saw an opportunity in the lean space, whereas as a company grows, you get a lot of waste in the business. So waste. When I say waste, it's like transportation. When I say transportation, I mean like that part gets welded over there, then has to get taken over there to get assembled. So you need to create a path for those machines that it's the least movement. It's called motion.
And it's not something that you would have had to take into account back when you were starting out. Right. It was just do the job. Yeah,
that's right. So, the concept is, you try to get the guy that tacks it up on the rotator. Yep. It goes straight to the next to him where the guy's welding it, and then straight out the door to the powder coaters, and then back in for assembly. So less movement, the better for these parts. Manual handling is a big cost. Yeah, it's so we run 8 cranes in here, and so we've invested in rotating everything because all our machinery is big, obviously. Big, parts weigh 2 ton, 3 ton, and you used to walk through the workshop and see 2 guys waiting on that crane because he wants to flip his part.
I can imagine how frustrating it would be.
He wants to flip his part, and so they could be standing there for 20 minutes.
20 minutes,
it frustrates them and me. So, we've developed rotators for everything now. So that's part of lean. Minimising waste.
Yep. It's pretty cool. Where you said you went overseas to some of these big manufacturers, through Brazil.
Yep. So I did visit the Bolden factory. Yep. Tattoo factory, and Stara in Brazil.
And Stara, you've got a bit of a unique relationship with at the moment. You've got some exchange people in and out, which is cool.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, so Stara's Brazil's funny. They don't speak much English at all. They're self-contained. They don't need the US. They don't need England. And they've got tariffs to if people want to import into their country, they've got huge tariffs, so they don't need the rest of the world that
much.
They're
really pushing them to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, and so their CEO wants to bring English into their business.
Yep.
So
Stara want to be able to go outside.
Want to be able to go outside. They want to.
They're a massive company.
Yeah, they want to get into.
And they develop some really, really nice machines.
Oh yeah. They want to get into the US and Australia as well, and so their CEO said, "How about we do an exchange program? So you send guys at a time. So it's a good opportunity for the guys that work here to.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, to see the processes that we've seen over there, and they can bring those skills back. Like I was talking to James, who's there this morning. Yep. He's there at the moment, so he's working in their assembly team, and he just said that. Their processes are just amazing. There's not a washer missing. Everything's done spot on, and that takes a lot of development to get to that.
Stara would be a very good example to work with too, I think.
Yeah. So
everything I've seen come out of that joint's been top notch.
And hopefully James can bring those things back to us. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. And we've got to remember, we're in the middle of New South. Yeah. We're in the middle of a small town, really, Griffith, which punches way above its own weight. We've got some big manufacturing facilities here, like yourselves. We've got places like Cellar Wines, big manufacturing. Us, Flavor Tech. They go worldwide with their stuff, and hardly anybody really knows, but they put a lot of people on. They turn, got some really cool stuff. The opportunities for younger people, it's disappointing that they don't really see what's here in Griffith, because it is a great place to build a really good, solid lifestyle and career from working in, whether it's agriculture, whether it's engineering, whether it's in the wineries. There's a lot of opportunity. So any of our listeners out there, if you've got kids that are wanting apprenticeships, Griffith, there shouldn't be an employment agency in Griffith, I don't think, because realistically, a dole office, the employment agency where you go in and get the job, yeah, but there shouldn't be a bloody Centrelink, I'm sure of it, because nobody should. There's that many jobs, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think there's something like 400 jobs available in Griffith at the moment.
It is crazy. Well, I remember when I first moved to Griffith, and that was a long time ago, 2002, I think it was. I literally rocked up here in a ute. I had a swag in the back, my clothes, and I didn't have a job. And I got here at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. By 6 o'clock the next morning, I was out at Barter's in their chicken sheds catching chickens. I had to get a job, but there was jobs there available. And then from there, we've been able to, I'm here now with Daryl and really enjoying myself. So the history of Collier Miller and Seraphins, you've already touched on that, where you started the first and I think it was a 12-metre multi-sew frame.
Yep.
That was in 2007, 2008, I think it was.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I
don't remember the actual date, but yeah, I remember the conversation.
Well,
I
I actually
turning up
traded that machine.
Okay.
And that customer was not too far out of Drildry. He traded that. We sold that. It's gone to another customer in South Australia. It's still going around. It's got different row units on there. But the quality of the frames have always been exceptional. Everybody's always really complimented Seraphins on the frames, and realistically, we've got to pass the congratulations on to you guys. But I think it's a credit to you guys to what we've been able to bring to the market, because we've got some pretty big demands from us. We want narrow transport. We want good, heavy, solid machinery at a good price. Always bashing you on price, trying to get everything down, always looking at how can we do things better. And you guys have always worked it really well too. With some of the new projects we've got going on, where do you see some of the technology going forward in regards to some of the hydraulic systems we're putting on our forward folds? They're getting pretty complicated. Oh, yeah. I look at it and scratch my head and go, right, okay, it's going to take a bit to get under control. How do you see that progressing? Are you going to see us, not so much us, but agriculture and machinery going back to more of a simplified thing, or do you see it still going forward as more more of a technical based machine?
Yeah, no, it's. I think that like the younger generation of farmers all want
they do. I wish they'd go back to simple.
Yeah, they want more technology. So more functions, like even the stuff that we build, graders and stuff, that used to be just a bolt-on sideboard. Yep. Now the guys, they want them hydraulic, pneumatic. They're happy to spend money on that technology. Some of the stuff we build, like a drag bucket, it might retail at 22,000. And then they might want a laser guided system on it. And that's about an extra 50,000. So the machine itself is cheap, but we supply all that. So yeah, it's just more and more of that I'm seeing coming through. And even with you guys, your customers, So we've had to upskill our guys, our drafting team with train. We send them down for training in Melbourne for hydraulics, particularly once every few months. So it's an add-on. It's more expensive, more complicated, but we have to deliver what our customers want.
That's true. Yeah, very true. Yeah. What's in store for Collier Miller? What to next? What can you actually tell me of your plans for Collier Miller?
We're working on a few more projects at the moment. One in particular is I can't tell you that, but because it's currently getting patented.
Nice.
But
that's a new product.
New product.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I've got a lot of faith in this product. Yep. Yeah. So
agriculture, mining, agriculture.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. We hope to. Our aim is to get it to the AgQuip field days.
Yep.
So
and you're going to take your amazing bloody self-contained showroom.
Oh yeah.
I'm very jealous of that, mate.
Yeah, because the reason we do that because we went to the field day in Brazil last year, and then as guests of Stara, and their field days are massive, all undercover.
Our last podcast touched on the differences between Australian field days and the agri shows over there.
Agri show is just amazing. It was this time last year,
Yep.
And it's different at those field days. Their farmers turn up there to buy, so they might talk to the dealers all year round. I turn up to the field day, and the dealers have got a little office each under this massive structure, and I think Stara over the 3 days did $70 million US in sales in over 3 days.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
It's a lot of money.
And so the reason why we built that hut is Stara were going to come to they came to AgQuip field days last year, and we just didn't want to look like we had this little tent and
like us.
So we had to build this thing that was next level. So and I've actually had to quote 2 other companies building that structure. So
Daryl Seraphin, if you're listening,
complete with coffee machine.
Yeah, it's got everything in it.
Cooktop.
It's neat. Yeah. It's very neat. I'm going to put you on the spot then. Where do you see field days heading? Do you see them dying off? Do you see them stabilising and being something that is still going to be around for a long time? Or do you see the internet killing it?
You know, I can't pick it because...
Well, it's true. It
well,
does go up
because-
and down.
Because of COVID,
Yep.
I thought that was a death knell.
Yep.
Death knell for field days.
Yep.
But this year we're doing Farm Fest up in Toowoomba, and we struggled to get a site because they had to actually expand because they've got so many more exhibitors this year.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
it looks like it's still a thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys seem to do really well at field days too, I must admit.
Yeah.
'Cause you don't seem to, you haven't got dealers
No.
reselling your products. You haven't got machines out in front of people apart from what you've sold. So you've got to work on word of mouth, internet. Field days is an opportunity for somebody to come in and have a look at your products and they go, holy, that's a big plough, or it's a big scraper, or whatever you've got on display. And it's always presented very well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, a lot of people say they might say the newspaper ad, but until they can turn up there and see the thickness of the steel and how well it's built, and like you said, how well it's presented, they'd be pretty impressed, and they say, oh, it's nice to see someone building stuff in Australia that's
right.
nice and strong and
Yep.
stands up for the
And
stand up for the conditions.
Australian built stuff is, people still ask for it.
Yeah.
One of the first things a lot of people say is, well, hey, where's your machines from? Well, and it's nice to be able to say, well, we get our frames designed and manufactured here locally in Griffith with you guys. We've got a very good powder coating company just down the road. We're spoilt, really, but being able to get this stuff all put together and to the highest quality here in Australia, we may have to pay a little bit more for it, but I think it pays off in the long run because, like I said, we've got machines that are running around the first serial numbers still out in the field. They haven't fallen apart. A lot of people go, well, crikey, they build them strong. Well, got to build them to last.
Yeah. Rework's expensive, so
It is.
I'd rather put like a couple $1,000 worth of steel into that machine.
Yeah, and no, it's right.
A couple $1,000 gets eaten up by 2 days in a car going to fix something.
Doesn't take much.
Yeah. So
You can get lost on trying to scrape the couple of cents here and there to save it, where you might end up spending it if it fails. Probably leave it there, I think, mate. Hopefully, we've been able to showcase and highlight a little bit about Collier Miller and what you've done, where you're headed, what you're all about. I love coming here. It's every time I come here, it's something different. It's really eye-opening. Really appreciate your time, mate. And yeah, as on behalf of Seraphins, I really want to say thank you to yourself, the guys in the design team, all your staff. It has been fantastic to work alongside this for a long time. And I can see us going big places. We're still growing. So thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. No worries. Rightio, everybody. We'll call it a day. Thanks very much for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe. Jump over their socials, have a look at Collier Miller, see what they're up to as well. They've got some really cool machines. Have a look at their laser buckets. Have a look at the moon buggy. All of that sort of stuff. It's pretty cool. And we'll see you around. Make sure you like and subscribe. Don't forget to share so that we can get the word out. Thank you.